Story time. Hey, what's going on everyone? Devin Ken up here, back at you with a brand new video. And today I'm going to talk about a childhood experience of mine that I think kind of like helped lead up to where we are today and everything that I do. And I want to say it was like the first form of entrepreneurship that I did. And then on top of that, if you're maybe like a little bit younger, you need like maybe a couple $100 extra every single month, I'll tell you guys about this business that I started at the age of 9 years old, and you guys can actually go out there and replicate it in specific states inside the US. I don't know how it works in every state. We used to live in California, so we were able to do it. But at the age of 9 years old, I was living in this town, it was called Apple Valley, California, or Victorville, California, what a lot of people call it, which most of you watching this, you probably don't know where it's at. It's in Southern California. You have to look it up on a map. And anyways, when I was living out there, it was in the middle of the desert, and I had decided that I wanted to start my own business. I actually don't know exactly how this got started. I don't know if it was my parents that helped me lead into this, or I know we were doing this as like growing up, and then we kind of started to scale it to where I had multiple different clients that I worked with and everything. And I ended up getting my own like little business cards, and it turned into like almost like a full-fledged business. As far as like being able to make money when I was younger, and it pulled in, I just talked to my parents and was getting the exact numbers and everything, and making sure I got all the facts right about it. But it was like a couple $100 extra every single month, and it really didn't take that much work other than like maybe an hour or two for the setup, and then maybe like an hour or two a week in order to do this. And what I did was I collected bottles and cans, and we had these giant, what were known as like Reno bags. So these big, huge like plastic bags, and we would fill up like one or two of those a week. And what I would do is I would go around to the other neighbors. I would give them a business card, and I would what we would do is we get these like plastic totes, and I'd make one for cans and I'd make one for bottles, and I'd cut a hole in the top of it, and I'd label both of them with like a Sharpie, a marker. And I'd drop it off inside their house, and then whenever they were done with their water or whatever, soda, whatever they drink, or whatever it may be that's recyclable, then I would just have them put it inside of the container, and then I would just take the container, put it in these Reno bags, and then we'd put it in the back of my dad's truck and take it over to where we could deposit it. And I was able to make some money doing it. I want to say I did it for like 2 or 3 months. And it was a full-fledged business at the time. Like whenever I'd get done with school, I would collect all the cans and everything, and on the weekends, and that's when I would do it. It'd take like a couple hours a week. And like I said, I would make a couple $100 a month from doing this. And then it got to the point where some of the other neighborhood kids, like the people that I did this at, they had kids, like the adults that lived at the house, they had their own kids, and then they kind of like, hey, this kid's making money by our bottles and cans and whatever, so they started doing it inside their own house and everything. But I want to say it was like 3 or 4 different neighbors that I would just collectively just get their cans and bottles, and each can or bottle is worth about like 5 cents. And think about it, the average person, I know like me personally, I probably go through like 4 or 5 cans and bottles a day, and so that kind of just adds up. You get multiple people, and then you just start collecting all these cans and bottles. And I want to say that was like the start of my entrepreneurship career. And it's kind of funny. I forgot about it entirely, and then I was thinking about it today a little bit, and I figured it would be a great topic for a video. But the thing is for those of you watching this video, I mean, it's kind of like a cool little story and everything. But on top of that, like for those of you, like if you really wanted to make like a couple extra $100 a month, if you're like still in school, still in college, or if you have a full-time job but you need some money to be able to start up your wholesaling business, you feel like, then what you could do is just do something like this. You could either like do some of these more like physical business models just to maybe make a quick extra buck, and do it on the side. Like you can not just do like collect bottles and cans if it works in your state, but you could also like go and like mow people's lawns. Or I was also just talking to my parents, and it's like still snowing in Minnesota. They had to scrape the ice off their driveway today because there's so much ice. You could offer that type of service to people around you. Just get a shovel and go and get the snow and ice off of people's driveways. And people will pay you money for that, and it only takes you, let's say, like a few hours worth of work to get the job done, and you can get rewarded pretty well. Let's say that you do like $20 a driveway for shoveling snow. So if you really needed to make some money to, let's say, like pay for mentorship, to pay for marketing costs, to pay for setting up the LLC, whatever it may be, or being able to talk to an attorney, whatever startup costs that you think that you really need necessary in the wholesaling business, you can easily just go out there and just do some like odd jobs for different people and be paid like way more than minimum wage doing these different jobs for something that's just maybe a little bit more labor intensive, and you can turn it into like a full-fledged business if you really wanted to. But at the same time, you could just make enough money to be able to help with whatever costs that you have. Even if you're not trying to get into entrepreneurship, you can even do it as something to just help pay for the bills and whatnot. But it was just like something that was like a fun little story that really kind of led into me doing entrepreneurship. That was business was something I was like always interested, like growing up. I was always into like video games, business, and try like computers and stuff like that. So I love like programming and all that. And that's why I went to school for computer science. But anyways, that's kind of how I grew up. And then I just came across like all these different businesses. I tried doing like little things here and there. Like I think one point in time, I honestly tried to write, like I created a website and I was hoping to put ads on it and just send traffic over to it. That was a complete failure. And there's a lot of like different things that led up to where I am today. And I just think it's like really interesting to kind of see how it all kind of fell into place. But I thought that would just be a really cool topic. And on top of that, like you guys are probably asking, what did I end up doing with the money at that point in time? I think I bought like an Xbox 360. So obviously not the best of investments, but I bought an Xbox 360 and I saved up that money to be able to buy it. And that was kind of like the start, like that like initial fire into my entrepreneurship. Even though I never really made like good money until maybe just over like a year ago. So anyways, hope you guys all enjoyed this video and this cool little story, but I really don't have too much more to say. So if you haven't already, I highly appreciate it if you drop a like on this video. On top of that, if you haven't already, join the fam, join the game by hitting the subscribe button down below. Smash that notification bell, and like always, I'm uploading every day. So I'll see you all tomorrow. Peace.